Fam. This is Derric Rau Khu, and by now I'm quite sure that most of you have heard about the Essence Festival in New Orleans and how the biggest complaint made by the people who attended the festival was that it did not honor and represent our culture. Instead, the festival highlighted African and Caribbean culture, but not African American #FBA or #Adios culture. You know, a lot of people blame this misrepresentation on the CEO of Essence Magazine, Caroline Wanga, a Kenyan American, but I think we are all partly to blame because we don't read and study our history, we don't invest in our own, and we allow others to control our narrative. Now, I've met people from all over the world. I love all the positive aspects of Afro-diasporic culture. I love how talking and eating the food of African descendants in Mexico, Puerto Rico, Brazil, Cuba, Jamaica, Trinidad, and so on, and learning how they resisted colonialism and imperialism and thrive to this day. But when it comes to learning about our own history, our own culture, I'm proud of it, but most of the people I meet are not. Instead of highlighting our accomplishments and achievements, we focus on the negatives because we refuse to read and study our history, don't invest in our own, and allow others to control our narrative. Take, for instance, the massive deportation that occurred and is occurring where many Hispanics were saying that black people were next because we are immigrants. Now, where do you think they got that ridiculous idea that we're immigrants? I would tell you, it came from a history textbook, most likely in Texas, which claimed that slavery was forced immigration and that the enslaved black people were quote-unquote black immigrants. Now, when this first came out, there should have been public outrage, but there wasn't. So now, here several years later, when it has become problematic, we're here trying to put out that fire. Think about our beloved soul food. Like I said, I love learning about other people's cultures, and one of the best ways to do that is through cuisine. But do you know, I have never heard anyone tear down Italian, Korean, Mexican, Thai, Jamaican, and Greek cuisine. Sure, every culture's cuisine has unhealthy aspects to it, as it being too sugary or having too much fat, but I don't hear people say gyros or jerk chicken or that kimchi, etc. is too fatty. They celebrate cuisine and take pride in it, but when you talk to people about soul food, all we do is complain and talk about it being too salty, high in cholesterol, too fatty, and so on, instead of making the necessary adaptations to preserve its legacy. This comes from us refusing to read and learn the truth about our cuisine, which is that it was not slave food. This is a myth. It was scraps to white people because they didn't know how to cook certain things, but our ancestors have been cooking from the rooter to the tutor, as they say, for centuries. Because someone said it was slave food, we ran with it and considered soul food to be slave food. The same occurs with our spiritual tradition. Today we have people all over the internet saying hoodoo is a magical folk tradition because some uninformed person said it and many of us ran with it. When if we picked up a book and read, we would find that most of our Congo and Angolan ancestors were Christians when they were brought to North America. Prior to being captured and enslaved, they practiced a syncretized version of Christianity that blended this new faith with their own African cosmologies. But when they arrived on the North American shores, they were prohibited from reading, writing, worshiping God, and communicating with their ancestors as they had done in their homeland. So they were pissed as hell, which made them rebellious. This means that they didn't practice their tradition because they wanted love, sex, luck, and revenge, that's stupid. They practice their tradition as a form of resistance. You see, when we don't read and study our own history and don't invest in our own, we open the doors for others to control our narrative. And as the saying goes, if you don't know your past, you can't chart your future. This is what happened at the Essence Festival. The negative portrayal of our culture can be easily corrected if we return to reading and studying our history and investing in our own instead of reacting when something goes wrong.